I want to thank you. I know you do, man. And we've got each other's back. Because we have put aside who was for whom before the primary. We are one campaign now, one movement for change now. When we started this campaign nearly 2 years ago, a lot of people, maybe even some of you, were skeptical. I know who you are. No money, no connections, no clue, some of you thought. For 18 months, I've been listening to the pundits and the wise guys say, no, we can't. But the point. That's the point.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
See, the point is, those pundits and those wise guys underestimated you. They misjudged the hunger for change and fresh ideas. They missed just how ready we all are to hope for the best, as my grandmother used to say, and to work for it. Working people want a decent job with a future, a chance to send their kids to college, health care they can afford and depend on, lower property taxes, no handout, but a hand up. They're willing to pay their fair share as long as everybody else does too. See, grassroots governing, like grassroots campaigning, is about listening to people, going to where they are and you are in your lives and in your workplaces. Not just the folks in the high-rise offices, but the folks who clean the high-rise offices and all the stragglers in between. It's about asking everybody to help me as governor, help you as citizens, help yourselves. No gimmicks, no slogans, no sound bites, but lasting and meaningful change. Now look, let's talk about crime. And let's talk about crime honestly. I'm the only one in this race who's ever actually sent anybody to prison. I'm not a criminologist. I was a federal prosecutor. I've been in those courtrooms. I've made those charging decisions. I've had to evaluate that evidence and test it in court. I've had to comfort victims. I've represented victims. Thanks to the newspapers you now know, my family and I have been victims of violent crime. I know, and like anybody does who's grown up in a neighborhood like the south side of Chicago, with crime all around us, what the impact is and how devastating that is on families and on people in communities. I don't need to be lectured to by anybody, but I'll tell you something else. And I have done one other thing. I've done one other thing. I have also, on occasion, represented the unsavory defendant, and you better be glad somebody stands up and does that. That is what puts the justice in our justice system. And that's because fear is poisonous. All through history, it's been used to hold back progress and limit fundamental fairness. Only hope defeats fear. It always has. At a candidates forum last week, the moderator asked each of us to say something nice about the other candidates. Carrie Healy rather grudgingly said, well, she said about me, he can give a good speech. And she would know this not because she's ever actually attended a speech of mine, but because she sends a nice gentleman around, and he's here somewhere, I'm sure, to film everything. He does. He's a nice guy. And he films me. But her dismissive point, and I hear it a lot from her staff, is that all I have to offer is words. Just words. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. Just words. Just words. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Just words. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Just words. I have a dream. Just words. Let me say it before any of you do. I am no Dr. King. I am no John Kennedy. I am no Franklin Roosevelt or Thomas Jefferson. But I do know that the right words, spoken from the heart with conviction, because of a vision of a thing beyond our reach and a faith in the unseen, can be a call to action. My words. When you hear my words, or when you speak your own to your neighbors, hear them and speak them as a call to action, as a time to take back our civic and political life, as a time to stop acting like partisans and start acting like citizens again.
In this context, there's no disrespect, so when I bust morale, you break it in. We got 5 minutes for us to disconnect. On internet, the rhythm effect, lose the inhibition, follow your intuition.